Hello, my name's Kevin, and on behalf of NX and the Yamba Tribe, welcome to your pre-event briefing for this weekend's Yamba Triathlon. Thank you very much for joining us. The purpose of this digital get-together is to go through some of the ins and outs of the event this weekend so that you know what to expect and flag a few of the things that may come up for you in advance. The way we're going to do that is going through your athlete guide. Now, I'm going to highlight a few pages. I'm not going to read every single page or go through every single page in this format, but I really do encourage you to do that in your own time. We've written this document for you, so do take the time to read through it at your own leisure in advance of the weekend. Now, the first thing that I'm going to look through is the event program. Now, on Saturday, for those that are in town early, at 7 o'clock, we're joining up with the Yamba Park Run at Ford Park. So really encourage you to be there at 7 o'clock and do a park run. Tag in the letter Y for your park run alphabet, one of the few Ys on the calendar for park run. Now, at 2 o'clock, we have the Yamba Community Pool Ocean Swim. That's supported by the lovely Yamba Surf Life Saving Club. Check-ins from 1:30 and the swim itself is at 2. Then after that, we make our way to the Bolo for a lovely soiree and check-in, and that's open from 4:30 until 6 o'clock. Now, the main event itself on Sunday morning, we've got check-in open from 5 o'clock to just after 6 at the Whiting Beach Car Park, and then we get into our race starts. We go Tempta, then the Swift Multisport Tempta, then the First National Sprint, and the First National Sprint Aquathon. We'll also have our teams events going through at that time as well. Then we have our McDonald's Kids Triathlon and McDonald's Kids Relay team. And rounding out is the Discover Triathlon at the end of the morning, about 8:15, thereabouts. Now, transition will reopen once the last cyclist comes in off the bike. And in this case, it'll be one of our Discover kids. So looking forward to everyone encouraging them as they come off the bike course before you collect your bikes. Race distances, you can see them on the screen and in there as well. We'll go through the lapping in just a moment. Now, here are the wave starts for this weekend. As I mentioned before, Tempta is going off at 6:15, then our sprints, sprint teams, and then the McDonald's Kids and the Discover at the end of the day. Do note your swim cap color on the right side of the page. And if it's not right in your race pack, no worries. Just see our friendly staff at the check-in, and they'll swap it out for the correct color for you. Now, on your page, we've got the Discover Triathlon. Discover Tri is a really cool initiative where kids and their parents can join in and do a short distance triathlon to really get involved in the sport for the first time. So depending on the conditions, it might be a swim, could just be a wade, depending on the conditions at Whiting Beach. Then the bike, it is a 1-lap bike course just to the end of Harbor Street, turn around and then come back, and then a short 1-lap run 400 meters before crossing the finish line there at the beach. Other event information, it's important that you understand what the difference is between an age group and an open or a relay team versus an all-in team. So do make sure you know that. And if something's not quite right with your entry, again, let the friendly check-in staff and Shay and her team know, and they'll be happy to help you out. Now, continuing along the race rules for triathlon. So there are a number of rules for triathlon. I won't go through every single one, but a couple that I do want to highlight that do come up, especially for new folks to triathlon. When you are doing your bike or your run components of the event, you do need to have your torso covered or have a shirt on. That's a triathlon rule, so do make sure that you do that. Helmets, your helmet will be checked when you go in to rack your bike in transition, so make sure that you have a working helmet and all that kind of stuff as well. Drafting is a rule for triathlon. I won't go through it too much, but if you do have any questions, there's quite a thorough description here in your athlete guide, as well as a couple of handy diagrams. But if you have any other questions, do feel free to ask the triathlon officials about that. Now, on your screen here, you can see Whiting Beach and Hickey Island. There are a number of good parking spots throughout the area, particularly up towards the surf beach. The couple of no parking areas, particularly along Harbor Street, we would really like no cars to be parked along there, given that it's on the bike course, and we'd like to keep as much lines of sight going around that area as possible. Now, toilets, I do want to mention as well. Near the check-in, there's one very small toilet, but in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that larger toilet block. That one has much more availability, and encourage everyone, when you park your car, go to the loo at the same time. You'll have a much less stressful time if you do that. Now, up on your screen at the very top again, you can see transition and just the way that it flows around. The swim comes up and around. You'll go through the pathway down here at the bottom, and transition will always flow from this left side to the right side. From there, you'll mount on your bike, means get on your bike, and head out towards the bike course. When you come back in, you'll either do another lap, or you'll come down to the dismount area and then head into transition. Again, flowing left to right, and then into the run exit. The main thing for transition at the end of your event, one, as I mentioned before, we don't open transition to collect your bikes until everybody has come off the bike course. It's something that we do in triathlon so that everyone gets a fair go in transition and don't have people coming and going, finishing the event. We wait until everybody's come off and finish their bike before opening it. Now, when you do come to collect your bike at the end of the day, it's important that you bring your race bib to retrieve your bike so that we can match your bike to you as you pick up your bike. Now, speaking of the bike course, we'll just quickly go through that one at the moment. A few things for the bike course in Yamba which are unique. It's one of the few shared road triathlons still out and about. As you come out of town, you can see we do our laps U-turn I mentioned before next to transition. Down Harbor Street, we have our Discover U-turn. Discover does that one lap before turning around. The kids, you go a little bit further up the hill past the Bowls Club and turn around. So that's where our McDonald's kids do their turn. McDonald's kids, you do one lap as well, based on that little bit longer of a distance and a little bit of a hill before turning back and making your way into transition. For our Tempta, you do one lap of this full course on the screen, and Sprint, you do 2 laps of this full course. Now, you can see after the McDonald's Kids U-turn after the Bowls Club, there's a little note there. This is where the road becomes a shared road, so it's really important for our Sprint and Tempta athletes to keep to the far left-hand side of the road from here on out as you go down to Ngowri. On the shared road, when you get to the Ngowri roundabout, we'll narrow the course to single file through that area, and it will be a no passing zone. So we'll narrow the course right up so you're toe to tail going through the roundabout. Then once you make the turn down Ngowri Road past the school, you'll be free to pass again. It's important that you do keep to the far left-hand side for that whole trip down to Ngowri. Do your U-turn with the help of traffic control at the bottom there, and then on the way back north, there's a dedicated bike lane that is just on the verge. Use that as you come all the way back up to Yamba. Now, we'll have a quick look at the run course as well. For our supporters, spectators, friends, family, we ask that you keep this area in behind transition adjacent to the beach clear. It can get quite congested if we get any non-triathletes through there, so we'll have some pretty strict rules about athletes only in that area. For our sprinters and our Tempta athletes, you'll come out of transition, do a left, and come around the back of transition. Tempta, you'll do a U-turn here just before going up the hill and then back out. Sprinters, you'll come out, go all the way down, lovely run along the harbor here, before doing a U-turn just near the marina and then coming back. When you Tempta and sprinters come back around the other way, you'll go all the way out towards the rock wall, do a U-turn, and then back to the finish line. For our McDonald's Kids and our Discover participants, you'll come out of transition. Instead of going left, you'll go to the right and do a shorten, not to the end of the rock wall, but just shorten just before turners there, before turning around and coming back. There is one water station on course. It's just near this finish and transition area by the exercise equipment, and that's brought to you by McDonald's as well. For everybody on the run, it's a 1 lap run. It just depends on if you do an earlier U-turn like Tempta, or you turn directly to the right like the kids I mentioned before. Our aquathon's great. You do the swim, skip the bike, and do the run. So when you go through transition, because we have that one-way flow through transition, you still take the same route through transition. Instead of picking up your bike, you put on your shoes, and away you go. The run, I've just gone through it, but it is a keep left on the run course event. The main thing that I'd like to mention for the run from a safety perspective is as you pass this Tempta U-turn, it gets quite narrowed up with the adjacent to the bike course. So we may narrow that to single file, similar to what I mentioned on the bike course with a bit of a no passing zone. For our sprinters, it will implement something very similar through there just for the safety of everyone's sake. So don't do a big plan to make a passing move there, but once you get along this harbor section, lovely spot to pass and a lovely spot for a run as well. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention is about presentations. They'll be at the Bolo again, 10:30 after the try. So once everyone collects your bike, you're good to have a bit of shower, clean up, head to the Bolo for 10:30, and we're looking forward to seeing you there for presentations. Thank you, everyone, very much for listening to our brief. Do take the time to read this document beforehand. If you have any other questions, ask the Tri officials, ask at check-in. We're more than happy to help, and really looking forward to seeing you in Yamba this weekend. Thanks very much, and have a great day.